Boys and girls, hi my loves, welcome back to another video. So this video actually wasn't even planned in my plan of content, at least for the first quarter, or even any time actually, because I didn't think something like this would happen to me that would stir this up. So hello. Let me check my mic. If you're new here, hi. My name is Debbie Obierika and I'm a young girl living in Abuja, Nigeria. I'm 27 years old. I recently got engaged on my birthday in November. And yeah, what else? I used to have asthma, now I'm asthma free. And there's any other thing you need to know about me. And I'm an Igbo girl living in Nigeria, Abuja, which is the capital city of Nigeria. So I want to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder. Just post-traumatic stress. I wouldn't add the disorder part because it might not be that deep, but so I've seen it in movies, talk about PTSD. Sometimes we in Nigeria, we throw the word or the statement, I mean, at the phrase or the acronym PTSD around a lot. And sometimes it is far-fetched, sometimes it is not. I never thought that I would come here and sit down and say, oh, I'm experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. But to be honest, I've experienced it twice. I'm experiencing it right now, and I've experienced it once before. Yeah. So PTSD, I'll probably find the Google definition, but what I understand it to be is the effect of something, that was very traumatic or very painful or hurtful or, scary that happened to you or someone you're very close with, and then you now start to, perceive things very differently. So what stirred this up is that I've been watching Skinny Girl in Transit. They just released season 7, well, a few weeks ago, but I just started it. And Shaliwa, one of the main characters, is experiencing PTSD from an abusive relationship. So much so that if a guy as much as holds her hand without her consent, she goes back to the day where she was slapped by her ex, and she can go into like a whole, whatever. So the first time I experienced PTSD was in 2022. So I was dating this guy and we didn't date for long. I would say we're not even dating, but we were dating, but we had not made it official because he was going to leave the country and we needed to sort that part of our lives out because at the time I was still not interested in, Jakwa. So that was the problem for us. So we were still trying to figure it out and we had agreed that, oh, I wasn't just at the time. When I come back from my trip, we would talk about it face to face and tell everybody that okay, this thing is serious. And the day I was coming back from Jos, he died. I've never shared this on this channel, but he died April 18th of 2022. Probably will never forget that date for a long time. So he had called me at 7 a.m. and I didn't pick my phone. He called me twice. Do I still have the history? I think I have a screenshot. Let me check. Because I beat myself about that missed call for so long. Like I beat myself about that missed call for so long. But let me check. I have screenshots because I figured that eventually over the years the call history would fade away, and I wanted to remember. I wanted to remember so many things about him. So did I take a screenshot of the last call? I don't think I did though. It's probably gone away. But anyway, it was about past 7 a.m. on the 18th of, you know, April 2022. I'm trying to check. I still have his number. I know. I'm trying to check if I would see like the call history, but I doubt it. It's been years. It's been years and years and years. So yeah, there's no call history. So anyway, he died, and I didn't know he had died at the time, but I missed his call and I kept calling back and he wasn't picking up. And I was thinking to myself, did we really fight? We even had a date for later that evening, like I had said, to like cement the relationship and make it official, that kind of thing. And I called and called and called. At some point, I started to get upset that maybe he changed his mind. And, instead of him to come out and tell me that, oh, Omo, I'm not doing this thing again, or he chose to chicken out and just leave me without an explanation. So by evening, it had turned from anger to worry because we even had a mutual friend whose birthday was that day, and we were all supposed to hang out. So I reached out to this mutual friend's husband that like, okay, well the mutual friend is actually the husband, then the wife is like, how do I explain it? I met him through the husband, but the husband met this my ex through his wife. So he's more friends with the wife than he's friends with the husband. I'm more friends with the husband than I'm friends with the wife. Don't know if that makes sense. So I called him. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from this guy. That is everything okay? That did he come by the house? That he hasn't picked my calls all day. And he goes on to say that, oh yeah, that he got called in for work. He was an IT specialist, and he probably didn't go in with his phone because it was a technical thing. They don't go in with their personal phones or something. I'm like, all day? He could at least text me now. Like, I was worrying and stuff. But if you say he's fine, then okay. So I move on, and I'm just like, okay, maybe he'll call me. I called again, he didn't pick up. Then the morning I woke up, and the night while I was sleeping, I had a vision that he came into my room and he laid beside me and he held me. So it was like a dream to me. It was very comforting. We just, talked and we cuddled. And then, when I woke up, he obviously wasn't there. And then I called him immediately. I woke up. He busy my call. So I got upset. I'm like, why are you busy my call, bro? I've been texting you. I've been calling you. Why are you not picking my calls? So I dress up with my hottest dress. I'm like, this guy cannot just get away easily. I mean, we've been at this thing for months. You can't just wake up and say you're not doing it again without, doing proper explanations. So I had planned that, after work, I'll just, go to his office, looking dashing and dapper. And when he sees me, he won't be able to resist. But there's that noise that this guy was already cold and dead. So, anyway, I got to work. This mutual friend of mine was my boss at the time. And then he calls and he's making jokes and he's like, oh, come over to my office. Let's talk about some things for work, because I reported directly to him at the time. And then I get to his office and I see two of my work friends, the only people I was friends with at the office. And he asks me to, so one of them gets up for me to sit down. You guys don't need all the story. And then they eventually break the news to me that he's dead. I'm like, it's not true. What are you saying? Okay, no, they tell me he's in the hospital. So I'm like, oh, that's what I was thinking was right. Because I started assuming that, he was driving. Lately, had been saying he was tired and stressed out. In fact, that was why he took the Easter period to rest. Because this was Easter of 2022. So I was like, what if he was driving and he had an accident? So I said, oh, she's in the hospital. Okay, what hospital? Let me go and see him. And they said, you can't exactly see him. I said, okay, is he in the intensive unit? Is he in a coma? Like, I was ready for anything but him being dead. And then they said, he died. Oh my God. Like, my world stopped. Talking about it now, my world is still stopping, because some days I'm like, wait, this guy is dead. Obviously, I'm engaged, about to be married, but it wasn't even about losing an ex. It was about, just losing someone that was close to me. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you never get over it. No matter how much love you find, you never get over losing someone that you care about. There's no jazz around it. You never get over it. And so that spurred a lot of things for me. Then I started experiencing PTSD. How did I know I was experiencing PTSD? If I as much as call anyone I care about and you don't pick my call, I think you're dead. I will call and call and call and call and call like a mad person. Text you, why are you not picking up my calls? What's wrong? What? So it was a thing for a whole year. If I call someone, their phone is switched off or they don't pick up, I would be scared to death. I remember when I started dating my partner, and one day I called. I called and called and called and called. Where he used to live, there was no like mobile network. I didn't know that at the time. We just started dating, or we're still talking. I don't remember. But I called and called and called and called this man. His number wasn't going through. I was having a panic attack. Like, my heart was beating. I was like, Lord, no, not again. I cannot find this one and lose this one. Even now, I know I'm not over it, because sometimes when he goes out, and maybe we're supposed to meet up, or he was supposed to come over or something, and he's not here. Okay, let me give you an example. Recently, even very recently, he went to Owerri for our mutual friend's wedding. Flew to Owerri, but wanted to see my parents, so he went to Asaba, then came back by road. Told me he was at a certain point at 7 p.m. And I know Abuja very well. There's no traffic on Sundays. So I knew how long it would take him from that place to the house. 1 hour passed, I didn't see him. 1 hour, 30 minutes, I didn't see him. Sorry. 1 hour, 30 minutes, I didn't see him. And usually, since I experienced that PTSD thing, I try to take my mind off it. So I started watching the movie and I'm taking my mind off it. But after a while, how much film can you watch to distract yourself? I was even having like a cocktail just to calm my nerves. And I started calling him and his number was switched off. Now, note this, my fiance's number is never switched off. Like, I'm the one in this relationship that her phone is always off, because I don't charge my phone. I don't go anywhere with a charger. I don't really give a damn if my phone is off. It's ironic because I expect everybody's phone to be charged and on, but mine can be turned off. So his phone was switched off. Hey, this is what I did not think. I said, I don't even know if he entered an Uber. Was it along? I was just panicking. I called and called and called and called. I texted, he wasn't delivering. Hey, Jesus, I can't explain that feeling. Like the fear, I kept speaking to myself, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. God has not given, I spoke in tongues, but I just couldn't shake it off. I was like, God, please. And I realized that, wait, though, this trauma of 2022, in a few months, in 2 months or so, it will be 2 years since he passed. And I'm still at this thing. It was terrible. When my partner finally called me that he was downstairs, I was like, where have you been? I was so scared. And he was like, sorry, his battery was about to go off and he didn't want to be stranded when he got to my house because they would have probably locked the gate downstairs and stuff. Anyway, and I realized that this PTSD thing is really low. And you don't actually, you feel like you can deal with it on your own, but sometimes you need help. Like watching Skincare and Trans made me realize that I never really spoke to anybody about this thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a therapist. Maybe someone that's gone through what I've gone through that can relate, that can just, help me. I don't know. So yeah. So I'm still dealing with that, to be very honest. Like I'm still dealing with that. Well, so while I'm still dealing with that, I now had another experience that caused another kind of PTSD for me. So you guys saw the previous vlog, because this video is going to go up actually today because I don't know, I just felt it posted. So you guys saw the vlog that went up that I had an accident. I had a bike accident. I injured my leg. I couldn't walk well for a bit. And I even experienced this acute knee pain for a long time. So since I had that bike accident, but I don't feel safe outside, right? I feel like when I'm in a car, I feel a little safer. When I'm in a keke, slightly safer. But if I have to actually take, okay, for the first week, 2, 3 weeks after the accident, I couldn't take a bike. And now I've had to, just rugged it because sometimes it's not convenient. You might not find a keke napep. I'm not going to come on here and tell you that Uber is cheap. Back in the day, you could budget a 20K budget because I don't go out a lot. I work from home. But in this wedding planning season, I go out almost all the time. Normally, before in Buhari's time, if you order 20K, that's good for about maybe 15 trips. Now, 20K cannot do more than 4 trips. You get? And that's a lot of money that I don't have. So that's about maybe 80K budget for a month. So I have to take bikes sometimes. And honestly, it's terrible. Like my partner doesn't know this, but every time I climb a bike, I'm scared to death. Like I'm even seeing myself having an accident. And I know that the mind is very powerful. So I'll not have to be rebreaking my mind that you will not have an accident. You will not have an accident till I get to where I'm going to. I'll be sweating. It can be ice cold and I'll be sweating on the bike. Like I don't, if you know me, I don't sweat. My side even teases me that, how do you not sweat? I will not be sweating in awkward places like my elbow, my armpit. I will just be tense. Yesterday I had to take a bike because I was running late. I had to start thinking about a movie that I had watched. I had to just start taking my mind off it. My legs were shaking. I couldn't wait to come down from the bike. Even if the bike is driving carefully, I can't get over the fact that I can fall down from this bike and injure myself. Because I still have the scar on my leg, from that bike accident. And it's been crazy. And I've not spoken to anybody about it. I think my partner doesn't even understand what I'm saying. So whenever I say, I'm not going to take a bike, it's like, but you didn't really injure. I'm sure that's what goes through his mind. You can take a bike now, but okay, you need to take a drop or whatever. Do what makes you comfortable. But sometimes it makes me go late to places, and he's like, you could have just taken a bike. And I'm like, you will not get it. I'm not, obviously, he has had bike accidents in the past, but maybe men deal differently. But for me, I've never had an accident in my entire life. I've never been in a car accident. I don't know what that means, and I will never know what that means. So that bike accident was my first experience. The other time I had an accident, I was parked, the keke was parked and the car came and hit us. So it wasn't like we had a collision or I fell out of the keke. So I've truly never experienced an accident besides home accidents, oil here, all these kind of things. So it was my first accident and I did not realize that you could have trauma from that kind of thing. It's so scary. I don't leave my house. For me to go out, but it has to be very, very compulsory because I know that, I don't have a car yet, so I can't even drive. And to be very honest, even to drive now, I'm scared. I've never been someone that was scared of driving, but now I'm scared that what if I go out there and I get into an accident? I mean, I never thought I could have accidents, and then I've had accidents. So this thing is real. It's not a thing that people just throw around. PTSD is real. I've been at PTS, post-traumatic stress. It has been a lot. I remember that for the first few days after the accident, I wasn't sleeping well. It wasn't just the pain, it was my mind going over it, what I could have done differently, what I could have done better. To be very honest, but it's been crazy. It's been really, really crazy. I'm scared half of the time I'm outside, and I don't know how to I don't know how scared of it. I've prayed about it. Like every time I start to experience that fear, I start to speak in tongues and I start to talk to God and be like, God, please take away this fear from my heart. Like just give me healing from this thing that is, just, persecuting me because it's a persecution as far as I'm concerned. So it has been a lot, guys. It has actually been a lot, but every day I brave it. Every day that I have to use a bike, I just brave it and inside the bike, you think I'm a dumb Papa J. What's going on inside my chest? I know, like, it's not a funny experience. Like, it's really terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's really terrible, and I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it. But I think the first step was like talking about it out loud. Because, like I said, I've never really expressed this thing to anybody. That since I had the bike accident, I've been scared of entering bikes, and this is what happens to me when I enter a bike. This is what happens to me when I'm in a moving vehicle. Like, I'm just terrified that something will go wrong. But yeah, I guess this is the first step, and also the losing my ex and all that. I've also never really talked about it, and how the uncertainty of life. Because if he was older, I would not really have cared. Like if he was like when my grandma passed, I didn't have any traumatic experience. I just wished she had waited for me to get married. That was all. But other than that, I was more happy than sad. But losing someone so young, so dear, someone that you were supposed to have like a full life with, it does a number on you. And that wasn't my first time, but I guess the second time hit harder. I used to think that the first time hit harder because I lost my best friend in 2019, and I don't remember what I felt. But I know that I experienced a lot of depression, but I don't know about post-traumatic stress disorder. I guess in that time of my life, I didn't have the option of PTSD because a lot was going through me and I was going through a lot. So yeah, the second time actually hit harder. Like it hit harder. But I think I'm going to do another episode of this, like when I eventually start, like my podcast. I don't know if I'll put this, but well, yeah, I'm going to start a podcast, not because everybody has a podcast, but because there's some things that I and my partner want to talk about that I feel like, you guys will be able to relate to, because he has experienced this PTSD thing. He has experienced it because he has experienced a loss that, about the same time I experienced my loss, he experienced his. And it's something that we both been dealing with. He doesn't say it out loud, but I've overheard him, when he's talking to people and stop talking about it. So, yeah. Have you ever experienced PTSD? Are you even going through it right now? What have you done, that has made it better? I feel like talking about it is a first step. It's a major first step. Accepting that this thing exists and it's a problem and you need to, you need help. Either from God, if that's your source, or from therapy, or from your mom or dad, or someone that you just feel comfortable talking with, that that can guide you and just help you through this path. And maybe what they call this thing. They say how do they say this thing now? Like when you have like a regular routine, it kind of helps, So a routine that is not interrupted easily kind of helps you find some balance and you feel like you have some control over the world, that kind of thing. I think so. So yeah, this is my first step talking about it on my YouTube channel. So yeah, if you've experienced this, you can share your own experience, how you overcame it, if you overcome it, and how you're dealing with it if you're still dealing with it. And I pray that God heals all our hearts and helps us to move past all these things that are causing us traumas. I think this is not the only PTSD I've experienced. I've experienced the PTSD of rape, of mere rape. Have I talked about this on this channel? No. I was almost raped in 200 level while I was in uni. And robbers broke into my friend's hostel where I had stayed over because it was closer to church and church had closed late. And they came into our room to rob us, to rape us, because they had robbed us and they were leaving. And that guy came and said, "Where is your gold?" And we said, "Oh, we don't have gold. He's taking all the things we have." And then he's like, "You think we're clean?" And then he starts to unzip his trousers. And then he calls his friend, our big colleague, to come, let's rape these girls. And me and my friend, we look at each other and then we look at him. And then he's like, "Look at me, well, because I'm going to do it, whether you like it or not." And I remember praying the most I prayed in my entire life, telling God that they cannot rape me. If I did not sleep with somebody by my own volition, somebody will not come and sleep with me against my own will. So it was a terrifying moment. And since that day, even as much as I'm sleeping, I think I'm better now. The Holy Spirit has actually helped me overcome that fear. Because when I hear a loud bang, I will assume that people are breaking into the house. And the next thing I'm doing is thinking, should I go and wear my pad? I'll tell them I'm on my period. So like it became so bad that throughout that period for like a year, I would always sleep with a sanitary pad. I never slept without clothes on. I even think of ways to, I can put like something that looks like blood stain so they believe that I'm actually on my period and leave me alone. It was traumatic. It was traumatic. Like I wouldn't be able to walk on the road without looking back. If I pass a group of guys, just me as a girl while I was in uni, then I'll be so scared that what if these guys try to rape me? So PTSD is real and it's not talked about enough. Mental health is not talked about enough in Nigeria. People feel like no be just bike accidents you get. Why you they fear? No be it's not just. Don't what's the word now? What's the English? Like make somebody's pain or problem look small because you can't relate. Even if you can't relate, if you can't relate, shut up. Actually, shut up, shut your mouth, don't say anything. And if you can relate, find ways you can help these people. Just pray for them. If you can't relate, just pray for them. Don't just open your mouth. Wow, say, is it not just? Nothing is just. Nothing is just. You have no idea how this thing affects the mind. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you guys in my next vlog, which probably go up on Sunday. This one was just I don't know, just felt let's post it. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And please drop your comments below if you can relate to what I just talked about. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.